afternoon, being able to squeak through there and just continuing on. Again, the sheriff's department is behind him. You can see that car really starting to suffer now. That one wheel being missing out there. Every time he hits the brakes, we see those sparks. Every time he gives it gas, we see those sparks. This car probably will give up before that suspect does, and this might be what brings us to an end. If you're familiar with the area right now, Palmdale Boulevard, we're coming up on the hospital right now, right before Terra Sabita, and again, you can see this guy just driving the traffic light, and he's been pretty lucky. And again, Sheriff's Department in numbers out here following along, not chasing as we understand it, following and trying to keep the public as safe as they can by blocking intersections when this guy comes around. I can tell you Terra Sabita up ahead looks to be a little bit crowded, but he might get lucky again with a green light. Again, armed suspect, possibly narcotics involved. We do see two people in the front seat, and we've seen this guy driving very lackadaisical, trying to seem calm.
Well, he's certainly going to have difficulty, Pat, as he drives along without that front tire. He's not going to be able to attain any high speeds.
No, and even as you look now, it appears that this vehicle may be even slowing down somewhat. I was just interested in what Stu was saying, that this was not, he didn't attempt to get on a freeway. He has basically remained in the area, and the officers seem to have a bead on him, or a reason why they want to talk to him in the first place. They suspect that he could be armed and that he could have drugs. So obviously, maybe they got a call from someone, or they know a lot more about this than we do right now. That's for sure that they're saying. But as Stu has mentioned, this has been ongoing, and he has remained on surface streets, and the vehicle is impaired somewhat because the front tire is missing, and that was because of the spike strip being deployed.
Yep. Let's get back up to Stu. Stu.
Well, I can tell you, it is correct. All the things you've been talking about, possibly armed. Now, the officers did get a little bit closer to this guy just moments ago. We were hoping maybe they were going to try to pit this guy. This would have been a great spot. Very wide open right now. No other vehicles on the road, but we're continuing on. This road will take us well into the mountains if he continues, or if this vehicle can make it. Again, about 40 miles an hour. He did slow down at one time, but then seemed to speed up again as he tried to get distance between the officers. I'm going to get a little bit wider. There is no traffic ahead. Nothing dramatic can happen in the next couple of moments. But I can tell you right now, you can see the number of officers that are behind him. And we can also tell you that there's a sheriff's ship overhead. Again, this vehicle is a possibly armed suspect inside, possibly with narcotics. And again, we're working our way on Palmdale Boulevard, westbound. We're going to be approaching 25th Street West, and then Palmdale Boulevard turns into Lake Elizabeth Road, and we start going way up into the mountains. Unsure if that is the plan for this driver. Again, just driving very casually. Every now and then we get a glimpse of that driver. Looks like he might be smoking a cigarette or something else in there. And again, just moving along, 40 miles an hour. Officers just about a hand's length away from him, but in number, and they want to bring this thing to an end. They don't want to harm the public. They don't want to have a problem with any kind of injuries to anybody involved, officers, suspect, or others. Again, though, you can see him moving along, coming up to a T intersection here on westbound 25th Street. Looks like we're going to be turning on Highland or westbound 25th Street. This takes us into another residential neighborhood that I know very well. And again, up to the Highland High School. You can see it making the turn right here. The roads are empty right now. High school has been let out. There are no students in the area. And again, open road, 40 miles an hour as this pursuit continues in the Palmdale area.
All right, we want to tell our viewers we're watching an early edition of CBS 2 News, and we're following this pursuit in Palmdale, as Stu Mundell has been so eloquently describing exactly what's happened here. You know, Stu, I'm wondering if do we know if officers are in contact with this person? I mean, they seem to have a reason to be suspicious of what is in that vehicle, what could possibly be in the vehicle. Do you know if they are in communication with him?
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. We were having a little problem hearing you guys down there. If you asked the question, I didn't hear it, but right now I can tell you we're right in front of Highland High School. We're working our way northbound. Again, the helicopter telling the units behind this vehicle to see is slowed down quite a bit, almost 20, 30 miles an hour. Absolutely no traffic ahead of him right now. Coming up to another major intersection right here. Again, though, this vehicle moving very slowly. Officers from the Sheriff's Department in number behind him. And again, it looks as if though they're just doing a waiting game out here as they want to see if this vehicle gives up before that suspect does. Looks like he made another turn here, and we're in a residential neighborhood heading eastbound again. And again, this seems to be his MO, the way he's been handling it, making large blocks. Vehicle slowing down quite a bit out here right now, noticeably even for us in the helicopter, but again, still moving.
We want to remind everybody that you're watching an early edition of CBS 2 News at 5. And, you know, Pat, at some point, this guy's just got to pull over because he's certainly not going to elude these officers.
No, and you have the feeling that he knows that.
Yeah.
I mean, Stu described him as sitting in the car smoking a cigarette there, and he's driving slowly. The vehicle is obviously impaired. He knows he has really nowhere to go to escape from them. So we've seen this so many times that eventually this will stop. He'll pull over, possibly get out and actually obey what the officers tell him to do, or possibly do a foot bail. Those are just a couple of options that we've seen played out.
Stu, is there, if he does in fact foot bail, there's not much there to hide behind, is there?
You know what? If he does stop right now and jump out of that vehicle, you are absolutely right. There is no place to hide. This is a very residential neighborhood. There's lots of walls, lots of backyards, but very wide open out here. Not a lot of trees that he could hide under, and that helicopter's really going to keep an eye on him. We're coming up a little bit here. If he continues on, it's going to be a sweeping turn, putting him next to a flood basin. Again, a place where he could run to. But, you know, it's interesting that we talk about that also. There are handicap plates on this vehicle. Unknown if this is the owner of that vehicle or not, but there are disabled plates on this vehicle, so that leads us to believe that maybe this person has some sort of handicap, or the owner of the vehicle at least does. Again, making that turn right now, you can see that flood basin. Officers still behind him. The helicopter talking to the units on the ground. The units on the ground conveying that they understand and they are ready if this thing does come to an end and slows down. And there are two people, at least two that we know of, and you know they could jump out and run. So they will want to catch those guys. You know, usually they'll bring in a canine unit, at least put them in the pack of officers following, just for that reason. Unclear if that has happened yet, but that's usually what they do. We're on Summerfield Drive right now, making a big turn. I can tell you this road will turn into Rancho Vista, and that's where the Palmdale Mall is. And looking out the window, huge number of officers out there on Rancho Vista, blocking all the traffic right now as this vehicle slowly approaches. They've left an opening for him to make a right turn, not a left turn, and or go straight. There are a couple of vehicles that are actually stopped at the light, so he's going to have to go around them. Here's another intersection. You can see them right there. Those are the spike strips that we've been talking about. Unclear if he clipped it, but they're definitely trying to bring this thing to an end. And again, these are the tactics they've been using this afternoon, getting ahead of him. Here we are, Rancho Vista. You can see a large number of officers out here, large number of officers watching as this car passes and making sure that the public is safe. Right now, we're right next to the Palmdale Mall. This is another smaller street right here, but his speed is very, very slow, and this is has turned into 15th Street West. And again, maybe another tire flat. Maybe. We're seeing some smoke coming off the back of the vehicle right now, and it looks as if though he might have even rolled down his window. So again, this might be coming to an end. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it'll happen peacefully. Again, armed suspect, possibly armed suspect. Even when this ends, officers are not just going to say, "Oh, it's over." That's when it really gets tense for the deputies involved. As again, we heard earlier on, possibly armed, possibly on narcotics.
Yeah, well, you could definitely tell that he is. Again, you could see a little bit more smoke coming out the back of that vehicle. And if that spike strip was successful, that would be the second time, Stu, that we have seen sheriff's deputies deploy a spike strip?
that was the second time that we physically saw them deploy the spike strip. That is for sure. This one seemed like it might have worked. It looks as if though that rear tire on the driver's side is getting lower. These might have been low profile tires to begin with, but again, if he has 2 flat tires, definitely going to impair that vehicle even more than it has already. It does seem like it is struggling. We're working our way into a very rural area of the Palmdale as we're working northbound, north on 15th Street West. These are farms, very rural area. Again, if he did jump out and run, it is a very wide open area, but these are larger plots, larger homes, but the officer's definitely right there. He isn't going to get far. Helicopter right overhead. He's been talking the whole time, giving the officers play-by-plays. Again, I have to say that rear tire does seem like it's going flat. We're seeing some lines in the asphalt, so that means that rim is starting to rub as well. This may be coming to an end, but again, this may have been coming to an end for quite some time. This vehicle's still going, and again, one front tire totally gone, possibly a second flat now, and again, just basically crawling along as the sheriff's deputies out here in Palmdale keep this pursuit up.
We want to remind our viewers you're watching CBS 2 News at 5, a pursuit in Palmdale, which began a long time ago and covering vast parts of Palmdale, Pat.
Yeah, we're now in a rural area, Paul, but we saw him just minutes ago through residential streets and appears to be driving a lot slower than we saw him at first. We believe that at least 2 spike strips have been deployed by sheriff's deputies.
Maneuvering it is certainly difficult as well, given the situation that he's riding on rims.
And he seems to, the sheriff's deputies are almost at every turn there. You see them coming in every direction. They have some of the streets out there blocked off to try to ensure safety of the public. We have seen this vehicle now drive at about the same amount of speed, not make really any erratic turns or moves, possibly because they can't. But again, we're possibly thinking that they know that this is about, they have nowhere else to go, and it's going to come to an end. We're just hoping that it ends peacefully.
Stu, give us the latest on the situation. How's the traffic situation?
Well, he's actually put himself in a spot where there is more traffic. We're working our way southbound now on 10th Street West. We're back in an area where there's a lot of commercial businesses out here, and again, still driving very slow. It appears that he has at least 3 flat tires right now. CHP is involved right now. You can see those 2 units right there. Those are California Highway Patrol. Unclear if they brought those guys in. Maybe they are pit qualified. Maybe that seems to be the plan. We do see these 2 units right there. Those are California Highway Patrol. And then again, if I get a little bit wider, I don't want to miss any action. I can show you a little bit farther back. All these officers involved out here, they are behind it. That is all going to be the deputies, the sheriff's department. Now again, we've just made another turn onto a street that I can tell you dead ends. Here comes the California Highway Patrol coming up right behind him here. Definitely looks like it's going to be a pit. Oh, almost got him right there. Now this road does dead end, so he's going to have to do it here very quickly. And again, just kind of tapping the car a little bit, trying to bring it to an end. Looks like he's turning into the Walmart parking lot right now. Again, officers from the California Highway Patrol trying to get this guy to stop. Right now, again, it's an area where they could do it. There's no other cars. There we go. There's a good pit. Just got him to spin around and stop. We can see only 1 tire right now, but you can also see officers with their guns out. Look at that poise. This guy is serious. He means business, but right away you can see hands in the vehicle are in the air, so they are definitely complying. But again, this is the parking lot of the Walmart. What they're doing right now is the officers are worrying about their own protection. That's called crossfire. You got that 1 unit out here with his gun out. Other units have got are across from him, so they're trying to position themselves so that no officers will injure each other officers. Right now, though, you can see officers cutting across the driveway. I know that I want to go tight again. I want to show you the response out here. There are so many deputies along with the California Highway Patrol right now. Got this car surrounded. We are very, very close, only a couple hundred feet from the Walmart parking lot. Again, driver definitely has his hands out.
Door
opening the door
Stu.
right now seems to be complying with officers. Again, we do know there is a passenger in this vehicle, at least one. There we go. The guy has gotten out of the vehicle. I believe it is a male. And again, hands out, seems to be following the directions of the officers. Appears that he is not disabled, or at least he's able to walk. Again, though, doing what the officers are telling him. Looks like it's going to come to an end, but look at these officers. Look at at their poise. These guys are ready for action if anything happens out here.
And now I guess we're waiting to see if that other door is going to open, because we believe there was another person in this vehicle. I'm looking from here, and Paul, I can't really tell. It doesn't look like someone else is in that vehicle. What about you, Stu? All right, we're waiting to hear back from Stu, but the driver of this vehicle is complying. He's walking with his hands in the back of his head, and we were talking about another person in the vehicle. Don't see that. Don't seem to be. We do have movement in the vehicle? All right, well.
So there's at least,
Pat,
Go ahead, Stu.
There is definitely a second person in that passenger seat. They're concerned right now with the driver, but you can see the officers with their guns out right now. This guy definitely complying, definitely doing what the officers are saying. It's not taking too much away. You can see in the passenger seat there is some movement. There we go. One of the deputies going on, doing a tactical, going over there, grabbing this guy, going to put his cuffs on him. Once they get that person in custody, they'll be concerned about that second person, and then of course we'll see them clear the vehicle. We've seen this so many times in the past, but right now, still a second person in that car. In the passenger seat, maybe they've told this person, do not move, do not make an attempt to get out. So again, we're watching as the second person in that vehicle on the passenger side there is being told what to do. You're seeing the hands, you're seeing compliance. Here we go, second person getting out of the vehicle right now, believed to be a female. Again, though, you can see hands out, definitely making the gesture of I give up. But officers, until this person is cuffed, this person has not yet given up.
Well, she's certainly complying. Now, Stu, is this the entrance to the Walmart? Is that what you said? And if so, what is that doing to the traffic around there?
We are definitely right here. This is a small road that brings us right into the Walmart parking lot. Sorry about that. There you go. That's the Walmart, giving you a wider shot of where this is. Again, this road brings you into the parking lot. So they took care of it as quickly as possible. They knew that if it got a little bit closer, there would have been a lot more people involved, and that would have been a problem. So again, here we go. We see the second suspect going into custody right now. Cuffs going on her. But again, this vehicle not yet cleared, not yet a code 4. So they're going to wait until this person is in custody, away. Then we're going to see a team approach that vehicle, make sure it's clear. Again, though, long pursuit, very dangerous at times, but definitely came to an end out here, brought to an end by the California Highway Patrol when they decided to use that pit maneuver, spun this car around and disabled it here in the Palmdale area at the Walmart parking lot.
Well, you know what I was looking for, Stu, and I guess we'll find that out a bit later. As you mentioned, that vehicle had a disabled placard or license plates on the back of the vehicle, and we didn't see anybody that was having difficulty walking or getting out of that vehicle. So that may give an indication as to whether it actually belongs to the driver or not. But I guess that's something to find out at a later date. But they seem to be walking away from the vehicle, so apparently they have these two people in custody, and maybe will continue their search for whatever else they thought was in there or not. But they are putting them in the police car, and it's almost a code 4. They're still questioning the driver, I see.
Yeah, successful outcome, certainly. I mean, this could have been a bad situation for everyone involved. But they did a nice job of bringing it to a positive conclusion with no injuries.
Absolutely.
And 2 people under arrest.